Hello, conscious breathers, infinite beings alike, breath family, what is going on? Much love to all of you, wherever you are, much love. I'm gonna go let's wait for a few more people to populate. I want to talk about what's happening in the world and just a message I want to give out to certain individuals who may be watching this. What's going on? What's going on, Dela? What's going on, Jewelry? Much love to you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Much love to all of you. Hey, what's going on, Omni? The world is shifting. The world is shifting, and it's not a bad thing. There's lots of improvements to be made on the world, yes, but mainly it starts with the people. It mainly starts with the individual. And that's what happens when you construct a Babylonian society. It's not the people to blame. It's the Babylonian construct, the Babylon construct of how society is conformed, how society is built. When in actuality, it shouldn't even be like this to begin with. There shouldn't even be no kings. There shouldn't even be no quote-unquote queens. No hierarchies whatsoever. There was once a point in time where everyone was literally just creating out of pure abundance beyond constructs. Way beyond that. And the parasitic nature of whatever entities, if you will, is just breeding that. Whatever parasitic nature is just bubbling and creating disharmony. Well, not just disharmony, but creating imbalances in terms of perception within people. What's going on? Yeah, false classes, exactly. It's gonna wait for some few more people to hop in here. But yeah, honestly, you'd be surprised of the many of you, some people from all different walks of life within all different countries outside the US are living in are literally living off the land in a sense, and I remind specifically the youth. I remind the youth, whatever you see in the movies, whatever you see on TV, don't ever get jaded by it. If you live in a foreign country and there's lots of fruits, plants, vegetables, if you're in that space of the area, wherever it is, you are living the most abundant life you could possibly live. Some of us here in societies that have these gifts are planted here, you could say, to help our fellow brothers and sisters remember. in all honesty, you think I'm going to be here? I literally have a full, I had a full long-term plan of then leaving society, so to speak, and all social media until, and then the interview came, and then when Sky was even sitting down with me, she made a really good point in the saying of like, we need more people like you, and specifically in these times, it just makes sense in terms of just the sharing the knowledge and the impact. I totally get it. I totally do. And that's my main point I was getting at. But going back to these youth who are cultivating their energies and doing certain practices of healing within these remote places of the world, if you're one of them and you're watching this, you don't need to come to America. You don't need to go in a beautiful, the high city or the areas that look nice on TV and all those stuff. You don't need it. You're not missing anything. You're not missing anything. You're full of abundantly. It's bigger than words can even comprehend. It reminds me when growing up, when we would go back and forth to Jamaica, because my dad's from Jamaica, and he grew up in the poor places of Jamaica, but he has such a powerful mind where he'll never forget his humble beginnings, but also understand the value of what Jamaica has to offer in the sense of fruit and the soil and how rich the soil is. There's even a Jamaican saying, and one of his close friends, I'll give you a quick story. One of his close friends came over to Jersey at one point to work truck driving. First winter came, but before the winter came, there's one thing that always stuck with me from a kid, from childhood. And he said, looking around certain areas within even Jersey, there's barely any fruit. And they say that a land is always cursed in a sense where there's barely any fruit. And that always stuck with me. And then when winter came, he booked a flight for the next day and went out. He's like, nope. This ain't for me. This ain't for me. In all honesty, cold exposure technically heightens a sympathetic lifestyle. And just go look the live that we did with Lance, so I'm not getting into that. But going back into the youth of tomorrow and the youth of today, if you have the opportunity to cultivate your energies in a harmonious, powerful way, and you have less reasoning to be inside the cities, take advantage. Take advantage. I'm going back to my dad. When he would go down there and he would gift people money and build people houses and stuff like that. Some of them would say like, oh man, I wish I could go to America just like you, this and that. And he said, why would you want to do that? Because it's just stress and bills. Just stress and bills. That's all it is. It's a facade. Because he always understood. And he wished, he's still alive, but he wished, people who are, you consider poor in Jamaica, right? Can easily go down the street and pick up a mango. And it's right there. It's just right in front. It's like right in front of you. So what happened? You have the western side of the world. Media. That's how powerful the media is, right? That's how powerful it is. You have the media come in. Now you see KFC, Popeyes, and everything just went downhill at certain places. But there are some hidden beautiful mountains within Jamaica that the Rastas are telling people one way of living. And it's so funny how some Jamaicans would come to America, right? And then would look at the Rastas like they're crazy, right? Right? And I'm going to post a video of this place in Jamaica that is totally away from society. And they cultivated their own fruit. You know, they start farming and stuff like that. Way ahead of their time. And now they're actually just making fun of people in the whole COVID. Oh, sorry. I didn't want to say the secret. But the whole seed epidemic, so to speak. They got their own schooling. They literally have like all the things of being self-sufficient. Now they're the ones that's laughing last. They got the last laugh. When the Rastas was saying, hey, I'm talking about the Aito Rastas. Now there's a difference. There's like the real Rastas, in my opinion. The real Rastas are the Aito Rastas. The Aito Rastas, they don't even smoke. The Aito Rastas, that's how deep rooted they're connected to nature. They don't even smoke. Nope. But they will use weed and they'll put it in their smoothies. They'll make tea with it, you know, that type of thing. But they don't smoke. Something with the fire. And they know. So, I think Aris Lintham, I hope I'm saying his name right. You can call him an Aito Rasta in the modern Western society of the world. That's one of the few quote-unquote Aito Rastas you'll ever see. At least here. But now going back into the whole Jamaican aspect, you have the poorest of the poor. And this is one of the things that my dad kept on preaching every time we would go. You know, people with less money. He said, hey, you can go plant this right there and there and there. That's how rich the soil is. People don't understand how rich the soil is. America, in my opinion, you can't really grow that many things within certain part of America. You actually have to grow certain herbs or vegetables that can only be grown at a certain point in time. But Jamaica is a place where, you know, it's very rich in soil. You can grow things all year round and you'll be fine. Right? That's how rich, keyword rich. So where did the wealth, the wealth aspect, where is it going in terms of hallucinating and manipulating the aspect of the mind of the people? Say, hey, no, this is what wealth looks like. This is what wealth looks like. This is what wealth looks like. Because the media, that's how powerful the media is. Keep on telling you, that's how powerful it is. But you know how we stop it? Turn it off. Turn it off. Play healing music of reggae. That's what my dad would preach. Play healing music of reggae. Turn off the news. And it's so wild that those were little seeds that's like planted inside me. And it's like I'm reminding them of that now, because now they're seeing how they implanted that in me, that now I'm reminding them of it, because they came over here to the western side and they quote unquote got hypnotized themselves. Going back to the fact that I was saying, when most Jamaicans, when they come out here, and you can, even over there, they're all hypnotized to saying, oh, the Rastas are crazy, they're growing their head out long, they're crazy, they're wild, right? They're the ones that's most connected to nature. They're the ones that's more healthy. They're the ones actually living longer. When you go up into these mountains, that's where most of them live. They're growing their own herbs, growing their own vegetables. But it just doesn't end at Jamaica. And this is my main point of sharing this with the world, in the sense of, because I get DMs like this all the time. And it blows my mind too, because the youth that live in certain countries that we could consider poor, I always remind them, you don't live in a poor country. You are in a wealthy position that most people would die for, in the sense of, you live on a mountain, you live in hot weather, you're growing your own vegetables. Don't ever be jaded of what the Babylonian society, quote unquote, or the matrix, if you want to call it that, the city has hypnotized people into what they want to think, how to think. Don't ever be jaded by that. I keep on reminding them. Don't ever be jaded by it. And if you're one of those that are maybe watching this later, remember that. You're not missing out on anything. You're not missing out on anything. Nothing at all. There's nothing here you're missing out on. You know how I didn't even want this car, but Jen, she has yet to see with her own eyes, going cross country and stuff. I told her, once you get your license, sure, we'll get a car. I didn't really want a car until, I'm so already detached. That's how, I'm so detached in the sense of, what do I actually need? In the needing sense, right? More than wanting. And the more you go back into need, it'll make more sense. But also utilizing the car, you know what I said? I can also utilize it and go to different parts of the U.S. and collaborate with people without getting something, without dealing with airport and stuff like that too. So I looked at it that way, and that also goes into alchemizing your environment. No matter how bad your environment is, there's some people in Australia, in Breath family right now, and they're making the best out of the situation. They're not complaining as much. I always check in on them just to make sure. And it's not just Australia, it's all over. So like I said, no matter where you are in the world, if you're outside the US and you most likely live, hopefully, you most likely, unless you're in, Afghanistan and you see what's going on over there. Let's be real here. But you most likely live in an abundant, rich soil place. You do. Take advantage. And most of you probably never even thought about this. Oh, I live in this country, but yeah, let me look up what grows here, what farms are here. You'd be surprised. A lot of you. I love reminding people that, oh, you live in Italy. Did you know this and this were there? Oh, you live in Africa in this place. Oh, trust me, you're not poor. Did you know only 2 miles away from you this exists? You'd be surprised. And that's the other messed up thing about the media, where they do the whole charity thing, right? They did that with, I'm not going to say specific names, but, in the eyes of an angel, those donation those donation programs or whatever, to manipulate you. You know how rich Africa is? To manipulate you, say Africa is poor, and I'm just using Africa as an example because they do this for every other country that's not America. And meanwhile, you have some trailer parks here in America that is so run down that you'd be like, whoa, why isn't this televised? Why aren't people over here getting help in their own country? Yeah, those are the people people are looking outside the country, this and that. But man, inside your own country, you got trailer parks and people living home. Look at California. California's a great example. California, unfortunately, you go anywhere in LA, within 2 to 3 blocks, you'll see homeless people all lined up. My friend had to call me. He was like, hey bro, I was at this restaurant, this 5-star gourmet restaurant, expensive restaurant, and I'm outside eating my dinner nicely, blah, blah, blah. And then I look across, bro, and this is what I saw, man. I saw just pure homeless people just lined up, and I just couldn't finish my meal, man. It was so messed up. I'm like, hey bro, They manipulated us since we're little, showing us those infomercials of like, hey, donate to Africa, this is happening, this and that. Donate to Spain, this is happening, this and that. Donate to Brazil, this is happening, this and that. It's everywhere. It's happening everywhere. There's a beautiful side about it, though. Only less than 10% of the whole entire world is made up of cities. Think about it. Only 10% of the whole entire world is made up of cities. No matter where you are, even in America, even down here in Florida, there are actually self-sustaining communities that's being built. So if you're one of those people that, hey, I had it, it's enough, within your own country, go on Facebook, literally type in self-sustaining community in whatever country you are, and you'd be surprised. And actually talk to these people. And some of them are multi-made millionaires. You'd be surprised. Some of them are multi-made millionaires. Some of them are living off grid and still doing work back and forth. And they don't have to go back in the city. You know, they're just living off the grid. And they can help you. I want to just put that out there. It doesn't have to be dramatic. And it doesn't have to be, you know, so far out of mind. But trust me, it's real if you ever want to live that life. It's out there. But this was also mainly for people who are in the countries elsewhere. I just want to remind you, and if you're just one of those individuals that, you know, still, you know, you weren't raised, you didn't even have a job, you know, you're mainly working off the land, whatever that may be. And I always want to remind you guys, if you're one of those individuals that, you know, is also purely detox in their body, and you're mostly detox in your mind, most likely, especially if you're talking to me and you say, hey, I'm living off the land, blah, 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 all this, and I got an opportunity to go in the city and this and stuff. You're not missing out anything in the city. I know it may be a life that, you know, you may, that may look dreamy on paper and what they show on the TVs and stuff of that nature, the movies make it look glittery and nice. I'm here to remind you, if you're one of those individuals, again, you are living in the most abundance you could possibly have. And I've met so many millionaires, so many billionaires that would kill to leave it all behind, to live the life you had with less stress, in beautiful scenery, most likely, because some of you, you know, trust me, yeah, and you know, I don't even have to say. Specifically certain countries, even in Jamaica, little do people know, there's beautiful mountains within Jamaica that my grandpa's living this life, growing his own food, and he made his own shack up there, and the clouds is literally touching him. And my grandpa and my grandma split, because my grandma lives here in the US, and you could clearly see my grandpa ain't aging. He ain't aging one bit. Still long dreads though. Long dreads turning silver. He's not aging one bit compared to my grandma. Yeah. Have a wonderful, breathful day, guys. And remember, what you do frequently is your frequency. Much love. Peace.
Breath consciousness has enriched my life so much. It's hard to even look back and imagine my life before breath consciousness. So I'm really grateful to Devon for empowering me with that. Working with Devon, he really, he gives you tools that fit into your life, individual, breath work sessions that you're sitting down and doing, but also breath work that you can incorporate throughout your day that fits into your lifestyle, that really works for you. And he's also created this beautiful breath family community, which really enriches the experience of working with him one-on-one. And yeah, it was a wonderful 3-month journey I had with him, and I continue to be involved in Breath Family, and breath consciousness continues to be an integral part of my wellness practice. and it will be forever. So I'm infinitely grateful to Devon for that, and I can't more highly recommend working with him.